I understand you're all a little bit freaked out by the previous act. Yeah? He's fucking weird, isn't he? He's a good friend of mine, he is a bit weird though. How you doing? You alright, yeah? You're well, you're good? Good, I'm glad you're feeling good, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also feeling good. Specifically, I'm feeling optimistic. And I'll tell you for why. Because all my life, yeah, I've been treated like a gullible fool. I've been conned and I've been ripped off. But not anymore. Because now, I've got this. Yeah? This little baby is a lucky talisman. It's going to protect me so that I never get conned ever again. I got it from the pound shop. $1.99. I'll tell you a bit about me, ladies and gentlemen. I can be a very sarcastic person. The other day I had a flat tyre. I took my car to the garage. There's a young guy working outside. I drove in. I said, "Excuse me, mate, I've got a flat." He said, "What, a flat tyre?" I said, "No, I'm just driving around disclosing my living arrangements to strangers." Driving in my car today, there's a song playing on the radio called "Big Girls Don't Cry." I thought whoever wrote that has obviously never been to a post-Christmas weigh-in at Slimming World. Thank you. With my birthday recently, my friends took me to a lap dancing club. I went inside, the girl inside said, "It's £20 for one dance, and one dance lasts the length of one song." I said, "Alright, I'll have Bohemian Rhapsody." There's something funny going on in my house at the moment. My wife is tired all the time and she vomits every morning. I think we all know what that means, don't we? She's back on the heroin. I was sat in the toilet for 3 hours today, ladies and gentlemen. I don't mind telling you, I sat in the toilet for 3 hours and nothing happened. In the end, I thought to myself, I don't need this shit. He like that. You can tell your friends that one if you like, mate. You got any friends? I'm only joking, but... Oh, I started writing comedy 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen. 2 years ago, a comedian friend of mine gave me some advice. He said, "Rob, what you got to do is very early on in your set, tell a joke that says something about you and the kind of person that you are as a way of connecting with the audience." It makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah? So with that in mind, I've written a joke that says something about me and the kind of person I am as a way of connecting with you. And this is it. Knock knock. Fuck off! Yep. More or less sums me up, ladies and gentlemen. Antisocial and borderline psychotic. The emphasis on borderline. I'm not completely insane, I am quite volatile. I was in the pub the other day with a friend who were playing rock, paper, scissors. He beat my rock with his paper, so I stabbed him with my scissors. But yeah, I was reading a magazine this week. There's an interview with the actress Billie Piper. You all know Billie Piper? She said after playing Doctor Who's companion for so many years, playing a prostitute has really stretched her. Grow up. And there's a photograph of 90s rapper Coolio. Do you remember Coolio? There's a photograph of him as he is today. Fuck me, he's put some weight on that boy. Apparently he's been living in a gangster's paradise. And there's an article about the woman who wrote the Vagina Monologues. Do you know what the Vagina Monologues are? Yeah, for those of you that don't, it's a little bit like this, some old cunt rambling into a microphone. But apparently when she was a young girl, she was a compulsive liar. Or as one friend put it, she used to talk out of her arse. It's good to see she's turned things round now. It's nice to hear you laughing, ladies and gentlemen. I need that reassurance. I get very nervous on stage. I won't say that I'm shitting myself, because I think that's a bit vulgar. But I have to admit, I am emitting three-dimensional farts. I think, if I'm honest, my nervousness stems from having a lack of confidence and a very low self-esteem. I've got such low self-esteem, in fact, that my idea of fantasising during sex is to close my eyes and pretend that I'm someone else. My lack of confidence was compounded recently when I was a victim of identity theft, and the thieves gave it back. And it doesn't help, ladies and gentlemen, that I'm not a successful man, and I'm not a successful man. This was made painfully clear to me recently when I attended a swingers party. Everybody in the room had to put their car keys into a bowl. My bus passed it out like a sore thumb. But despite these failings, I did manage to persuade a woman to marry me. I actually met my wife speed dating. Give me a cheer if you've ever been speed dating. That was a bloody pity cheer. You haven't been speed dating. I'll tell you about speed dating. The nature... You have? Well, it's good, isn't it? It's a great thing. The nature of speed dating obviously that it works very fast. I remember the night very well. It was a Friday the 13th. It's not really relevant because I'm not superstitious and touch wood, I never will be. But my wife was sat opposite me. She wasn't my wife then, obviously that would be weird. But she was a perfect stranger at the time. She said, things have to move quickly. She looked at me, she said, pick 5 words to describe yourself. I said, I'm inarticulate. For those of you who get that joke, congratulations. For those of you that don't, congratulations means well done. It was very difficult when I started seeing my wife as a girlfriend because I had no real experience with women. My only experience with a woman up until that point, I'm not proud of this, but it had been with a female escort, ladies and gentlemen. Now before you judge me, let me tell you I was an 18-year-old virgin and I could not get laid for love nor money. It's not strictly true, is it? I was an 18-year-old virgin, I could not get laid for love. I saw an ad in the paper, it said, woman offers full girlfriend experience, £100. I had £100 been saving up my YTS money. I said, YTS, I remember. Oh, don't. I saved up £100, I phoned the number, I said, hello? I spoke very differently back then. I said, hello, I'm phoning about the full girlfriend experience. She said, have you got £100? I said, yes. She said, be at this address tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and bring the money with you. So I went to this house and knocked on the door. This beautiful woman, Brenda, opened the door. She was wearing a silk negligee. She was gorgeous. I said, I'm here for the full girlfriend experience. She said, have you got £100? Yes. I gave her the money. She lured me inside. She locked the door. She went in to the lounge. She sat down on the sofa. She went into a deep, sulking silence. And I had to spend the next 2 hours working out what it was that I'd said wrong. It was a very authentic experience, ladies and gentlemen. That was my only point of reference when I started seeing my girlfriend. My wife now, my girlfriend then. So it was hard for me. For our first date, I took her for ice cream at the seaside. Ladies, is that romantic?
No.
That is harsh. Don't sit on the fence, say what you mean. I'll try again. Ladies, is that romantic?
Yeah.
It's certainly cheap. And I'll be honest with you, that was my main motivation. So I took her for ice cream at the seaside. I was a perfect gentleman. I laid her rug down on the beach. I said, you stay there, my love. I'll get them. What would you like? She looked up at me all coquettish and shy. She said, oh, surprise me. So I didn't get her one. Yeah, she was certainly surprised. But that was 7 years ago. That was 7 years ago. We've been married for 7 years now, and I'll be honest, the magic has gone out of our relationship. I think anybody who's been in a long-term relationship or a marriage will attest that the spark does dwindle a little bit. To give you an example, when we first got together, we were, I don't mean to be vulgar, I don't mean to be rude, but we were sexual animals. We were at it like rabbits. She would grab me, she was a very aggressive woman, she'd grab me by the scruff, she'd say, I want you. I want you. It's true. I want you. She doesn't say I want you anymore. The most seductive thing she says to me these days is, do you want to try and have sex? Do you want to try and have sex? As if there's a chance that it'll go wrong. And there is a chance it'll go wrong because we're not into it anymore. We just don't enjoy it so much. Case in point, the other day we were trying to have sex. I wasn't really aroused. She wasn't really aroused. The best way I can think to describe it to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that it was like trying to push a flump through a polo net. I'm a little offended that you laugh as much at that, to be honest. It's actually very painful for the flump. But we're trying to liven things up. We're trying to liven things up. We went to a wife swapping party recently. I made a bit of a faux pas. I didn't realise it was just for the one night. I looked like a fucking idiot turning up with all those suitcases. And we're going to a nudist convention next month. We're hoping to, anyway. We don't know what day it's on yet, but we will if we've got nothing on. But when I'm talking about my wife, I'll be serious for a moment. Last year was extremely difficult for both of us. On a somber note, my wife's dear father passed away last year. It was very sad. It was especially sad for me, as his funeral fell on the day of the Six Nations rugby final. Now I know what you're thinking. Selfish bastard. And to be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, that was my initial response too, but in his defence, he didn't have a choice. Now, I love the rugby. My wife knows this. She said, I know you love the rugby, but this is my father's funeral we're talking about. Why don't we compromise? Meet me in the middle. Why don't we record it and watch it together in the evening? I said, all right. It's a bit morbid though, isn't it? I got the wrong end of the stick completely, ladies and gentlemen. She wanted me to record the rugby, obviously. I went to the funeral with her. When I got there, I saw her mother. She was dressed head to toe in black. She had a veil on. She was bawling her eyes out. I looked at her, I said, morning. As soon as I had said it, ladies and gentlemen, I realised how inappropriate it was. It had gone 12 o'clock. I'd missed my window for the morning joke, which in hindsight is why I think she didn't laugh. I tried to console her. I tried to console her with some words of comfort. I said, at least he had a good innings. She said, a good innings? What are you talking about? He was 51. I said, yes, well, I'm shit at cricket. It sounds like I'm being disrespectful, doesn't it? But I'm not. I love my mother-in-law. She's a fantastic woman. She's a beautiful woman. I love her to pieces. But she is a lot posher than I am. I'm a very working class guy. She's a middle to upper class woman. She really is. I learned this to my great expense, that we have different values, when I was at her house one night having dinner, and I farted at the dinner table. I farted. It's embarrassing for me to tell you that, but I farted at the dinner table. She was mortified. She looked at me aghast. She said, Robert, in this house, if a person wishes to break wind, it is expected that they leave the room in order to do so. I said, leave the room to fart? There are members of my family that wouldn't leave the room to shit. Which is true. Which is true. My son, for a start, my son. I'll tell you about my son. He's 3 years old. He's a lovely kid, but there's one thing about him that I think I should share with you. He's a fucking lunatic. He is a lunatic. There's no nice way of saying it, ladies and gentlemen. He is a lunatic. I'll give you an example of the kind of insane lunacy I have to put up with from this kid on a daily basis, right? The other day I was sitting in a lounge, he came running in, stark bollock naked. Now, I'm not a bad parent, right? I had dressed him 20 minutes earlier, but he thought, fuck it, I'm having a nude day. He came running in, he stood right in my line of vision, he started gurning at me like this, and he just started stretching his genitals. And I mean really stretching them. He was looking at me like this. And it was awkward. Weird. And I remember now, he looked at me and he said these words, he said, do you want to go to Legoland? I couldn't say no to that. Could you say no to that? I'm not going to ask you, certainly not in that fashion. My worry now is, how's he going to up the stakes? What's he going to do when he wants to go to Disney World? But it's a funny thing. It's nice for me as a father now, because I've got a little bit more money than I had when I was growing up. Obviously I didn't have any money when I was growing up, but my father didn't have any money when we were growing up. I come from a very poor family, and I don't want your pity, I want your money. We didn't have any toys, and my dad, he said, Rob, don't be upset, boy, don't be upset. You don't need toys, you don't need toys. Just play with your hands. Just play with your hands. So what do you mean, Dad, play with my hands? What do you mean, what do I mean? Use your hands, they create things. Look, puppets, you can talk to people with them. You're alright. You're alright, I say. No, I'm having a breakdown, He said, you got little men, guns, it's not loaded. So they're great things, very versatile things. He was so into this idea, my dad, that we should play with our hands, that one Christmas, he wrapped them. I was in bed. I woke up in the morning, my hands were covered in wrapping paper and sellotape. I'm like this, trying to get it off. My dad's standing in the doorway like that, staring at me excited. I said, Dad, what the fuck are you doing? He said, I just want to see the look on your face when you open your presents. Crazy days. Can I tell you one more story before I go, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah? What's especially nice for me tonight, and I know this isn't politically correct to say this, but there's no nutter in this pub. And I know there's no nutter in this. You're all looking at me like I'm the nutter in the pub. You know what I mean when I talk about the nutter in the pub? He's the one when you go in, you think, please don't come over and talk to me. Well, I am a nutter magnet, right? Wherever I go, if there's a nutter there, he or she will find me. Now, I was in a pub one time, I was in Westgate Street, obviously, and I was waiting for a friend. I was reading a paper, I was having a pint. And this guy came in, very strange, dishevelled looking guy. I thought, Here he is. He's come in, he's the nutter, he's going to find me. He made a beeline for me. He grabbed the seat, said, "Can I sit here?" I thought, you sound a lot like I did when I was 18. "Can I sit here?" I said, "Yeah, that's fine, mate." He grabbed an empty pint glass and said, "Can I have this glass?" I said, "Yep, that's fine." And he reached into his bag and I thought, oh, love him, he's hard